Hi everyone, it's me, Jessica lwhor, and we're back with another JESS Talk, talking all about friendships, friendships in drag, and friendship in general. Now, before we get into this week's episode, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notification. Per usual, I have to keep reminding you, and we are streaming on all platforms for podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. So, let's get into this week's episode.
Attention lwhor, attention lwhor, attention lwhor, attention. Here I am walking down the street, seeing all the boys trying to take a peek. Shorts pulled up, a chest out right. Come on, boys, just take a bite. Look but don't touch, spin it round and round.
Okay, so this episode is all about friendships in drag, my values in friendships, and all kinds of shenanigans like that. Friends. So I consider myself a difficult person to make friends for various different reasons. I think that a lot of it was before drag. So I remember having a really difficult time growing up and making friends, specifically because I was meticulous in particular. And I think a lot of it had to do with that I was so closeted. I attach myself to people. And when I don't understand when friendships break and that attachment is disconnected, I really struggle, tearing down a wall. I feel like everybody works on building up these walls and tearing them down depending on what makes them comfortable and what trauma they have or who they're going to let into jump the wall, let down the gate, come on into my life. And I have very few friends that I would consider I've had for like the entirety of my life. And if I go like way, way, way back to when I was growing up, it is wild to me to think that like my childhood best friend, Ian, and his brother, I was like a second family growing up, the Stelmachs, like a second family growing up. And you kind of forget a lot of those childhood memories, those moments, until they all just flood back. They're all compartmentalized in different spots. And recently, probably about a month ago, or it'll be a different timestamp when this podcast comes out, but my childhood best friend came to a drag show that I was at and messaged me and said, "Hey, we're in town. We want to come see Jessica lwhor." And I was gooped. Mind you, I haven't seen anybody in this family for probably 15 to 20 years. Damn. Yeah, maybe 15 to 18 years. And not only did they show up, it was like reconnecting. Like that is your childhood best friend. You hug them. I get so excited. And they're just people that have that little special place in your heart that you'll never forget them. You'll never lose those memories. You'll never feel distant from them. And I think a lot of the times I look at friendships and relationships around me and I'm worried about there being such a loss and disconnect that I recluse and I just stay to myself and I don't try to reach out or connect because this was a magical moment. Not only did they show up, him and his brother showed up with some of his friends. They all came in handmade Team lwhor shirts to my show, and it was magical. It's magic. It made me want to really take an effort to go back to where I grew up and go hang out and just like spend a different out of club experience. But that was their first time seeing Jessica in person. Apparently they had been following the bitch and it was really cool to see them grow up. And you don't know how people's minds and views and morals grow up. So they could have grown up to be Trump supporters for all that I know, or just in general, just not a fan of queer people. And it was completely the opposite. They were just as caring, just as loving, and just as fun. But they looked the same. Like they were totally different, but they looked the same in the face. And so that was a really cool experience. I hold on to people that remember phases of my life that nobody else will relate to. And my childhood best friend is probably the only person that will remember that period of my life pretty decent. My family life, where I grew up, we went to school together, we played together all the time, sleepovers together. I could go through a whole story about my childhood best friend as a JESS Talk. And then I go down the line, and I think about other friendships. And so this is all before drag. I have my high school best friend, Jamie, who I've been friends with for over 10 years, and I still get to see her once a month regularly. And she's the only person that really remembers that aspect of my life. Before I came out, she knew I was queer before I knew I was queer. She knew all of my secrets and shenanigans in high school. We got into trouble with each other. She's just one of those people in my life that nobody can replace her. She has that special piece in my heart. There are some other people from high school that I remember being really close to, like Michaela Flanagan and Samantha Egan and Catherine Houlihan. But I think I called her Katie. No, it was Katie, but I used to call her Catherine because I was a cunt or something like that. But there are people that just will always have a spot in my mind, spot in my heart, because we had really great interactions and memories. And then when I'm thinking, as I'm getting older, and obviously relationships fades, everyone graduates from high school and everyone's like, oh my God, we're never going to see each other. We're never going to be friends again. And we're like, oh my God, we're going to talk every day and we're going to be the best friends forever. And that's just not realistic. Views change, environments change, realisticness changes. Things change, people change, feelings change too. My queer identity came up, things just happen. But there are some people that just will never go away. Friendship to me is really, really fucking important. And I think that as most people, as you get older, you realize more of what you're willing to manage in a friendship versus who are your coworkers, friend coworkers, who are your acquaintances, who are the people that you enjoy seeing, but you wouldn't necessarily say that you're really good friends, but you have so much love and respect for them that you consider important to your life. You would invite them to places. You come on out. And I think when I started doing drag, I lost a lot of friendships because of my anger towards my lack of self-love. I was unfortunately so depressed, suicidal, and broken. And I can't blame everything on that because I choose my own actions and my own words. But I lost a lot of friendships over the course of my life, and more so in my adulthood, because I discovered what I was willing to take, what I wasn't willing to take, where my compromises came into play. When you give a lot of effort, it's not necessarily about getting it back, but it's in what balance that you're receiving that effort. And then drag kind of made it worse in some ways. Trying to manage drag relationships and coworker drag relationships, and then fandom relationships, and then acquaintance relationships is very difficult. And I think that's where it gets me into trouble, is that when I started drag and when I really solidified what I wanted with my persona in drag, I became more confident out of drag. I knew who I was as a person when I came out. I decided how I wanted to represent myself. And from the very beginning, the very jump, I knew that I wanted to make this more intensive. I didn't know career at the time, but I wanted more. I was craving more. And I decided right off the bat I needed to create some separation and boundaries between my professional life and my personal life. Meaning, if I have really good friends, some of my best friends in drag, that relationship in drag can work, but it comes with caveats and boundaries, in my opinion. I'm not one to sit there and say, because this is my friend, they are required and expected to get a booking from me. Because they are my friend, I'm not going to be honest with them. Because they are my friend, does not mean that we have to have the same opinions and feelings on art. I don't look for people that are identical to me in my mind, in my opinions, in my philosophies. But I do find that most people are attracted to others that have similarities like that. And when I came into the drag world, I think a lot of my friendships got fucked up because as I became more popular, as I became a little bit more locally famous, which is a thing, everything shifted. The people that I thought were really close to me were just using me. A lot of people that I welcome into my home, which is a huge deal for me. If I welcome you into my space, whether that's my physical space or my mental space, if I let you in on secrets and things that matter to me or into my home, and then it just goes away, I really struggle with that. I've had friends that have been best friends for years, FaceTime every day, check in on each other all the time. And then, no joke, flip of the switch, a cycle, I can name probably 10 experiences in the last 6 years of people I considered really good friends just leave for whatever reason. And I can guarantee you that a lot of drag friendships don't exist or work well because jealousy gets in the way, resentment gets in the way, pent up feelings and emotions that you've been stewing on. I'm a big believer in my friendships to communicate up front. I should be able to go to my friend and say, hey, last week or even earlier today, recently, this happened. You made me feel this way because of this action, and I'm now sitting with those feelings. And your friend has two options. They can get pissed at you and say, that's stupid of you to feel that way. That's really, really dumb. Or they can sit there and say, wow, I didn't know I did that, and I'm really sorry. And like, I don't want to do that again to you. Period. One has respect. The other one says, oh, I'm ready to leave and fight you. And you're like, why is that necessary? Where did that come from? And I think in the drag world, a lot of people get so butthurt because of the boundaries that I hold between my personal and my professional relationships, that they're expected of one treatment and being booked all the time and getting the best opportunities and being on top and whatnot. And they are deserving of that. But I don't logically think of shows that way. I look at shows as the best audience experience, the best well-rounded cast, who is best fit for what role that I'm being hired to do. The two ways that I talked about really will showcase how much that person values you in return. Are they willing to have a conversation with you? Is that conversation in person? Are they willing to be honest with you? Are they willing to have a hard conversation with you, but not have the intention that they're going to just drop you? Those are really hard. And then the way that people react really will show the worth of that friendship. If I say, hey, Oscar, you really upset me because this and that recently happened. And you say, well, fuck you, Jessica. I don't think I did that whatsoever. To me, that immediately says you have no desire to be my friend. You have no desire to really hear what I'm saying or anything like that. Now, if you were like, hey, I'm really sorry. I want to tell you where I'm coming from. I didn't mean that to come off that way. And maybe this is probably what that situation looked like. That's different. That's conversational. But I cannot stand, and I've almost gotten to a place, and I learned that recently because I lost another really good friend a couple weeks ago, that I have a zero tolerance policy for pent up resentment. I don't have time for it anymore.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And when I don't have friendships with people, or even people that people may perceive that I don't like, that is not how I run my mental health and my business. It means that I am rooting for you and I'm cheering you on in a different capacity, from the sidelines, from afar, from a distance. If we have bad interactions, I probably don't think about you. I don't bring you up in conversation. I don't talk about how you make me feel, because all of that is wasted little pockets of energy that are restricting you from your biggest and greatest self. And I can no longer obsess over friendships that never were there, that were just never there. And that as soon as I'm not booking you, you are mad at me. Or you want to bring forward what I have been perceived as resolved issues in our friendship, but you never brought up that there was an issue for months or years. But you want to be the first one to tell me, well, 3 years ago in March sometime, you pissed me off and I'll never forget it. But we've been hanging out, having dinners, coffees. You've been into my house. We've worked together for the last 3 years, and you haven't said anything. One of the best pieces of advice that my sister felony misdemeanor gave me was like, if you can't stop thinking about it, the problem in your friendships, then you need to address it. And if you're able to let it go, you need to truly let it go.
Let it go, let it go.
You can't hold on to all of that and then throw it up on somebody and expect them to fix everything. That's just not how that works in friendships. And so, when it comes to my relationships, communication is important to me. It's really important to me. I think everyone naturally struggles a little bit with communication, but the idea is to catch yourself in your struggles, to communicate when you're struggling about it, or really determine if you're getting over it. Like, this is not that big of a deal. I know this person, they didn't mean it that way, point blank, period. Resentment, jealousy have been a common thing with friendships and drag over and over and over again. And I'm not one to relive or explain myself. I'm usually just one to let things dissipate and move on, because nothing good comes from it when you start poking the bear to get answers or to resolve anything. But I love my friends. I voice memo with my friends. Voice memos are a new thing, and it's one of my favorite things. You can tell tone and inflection. I try to check in on my friends all the time. I'm getting emotional because there have been moments where I've not checked in on friends and it has been too late. And it's so easy to see a Facebook post or a tweet or an Instagram story of somebody just obviously not doing okay and sending them a message. My friends are so important to me. I hated the excuse of people saying that I didn't have enough time, so they didn't invite me to things. And so I really, I've worked harder than ever the last several years to be as present with my friend groups as possible, from showing up for a hot second to birthdays, dinners, trips, outings, responding, hey, I can't make it, but I would really like to be there. Randomly, probably about once a week for an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, I will just take the time to go down a list of people that are on my mind and send them voice memos of, I'm thinking about you. I love you. How are you doing? I hope that you are all right. I saw this is happening in your life. What is new? Can I see you? And I've really tried to work back in the time that I felt like I lost with friendships. And then, I've been talking about all the negative experiences, but there are so many even more positive experiences of the friends that I've managed to have really amazing working relationships with and really amazing out of drag relationships with. Lulu All Night, Lala Shears, just to name a few, Cristal, Maverick, Felony, Zara, Dixie, Shirley. Like, I could go down back to back to back to back of all these people that I've managed to find people that quote unquote speak Jessica, is what I say, and what a couple of them have said. Speaking Jessica means, like, when I'm talking to you as a professional, I can give you feedback as a professional that booked you for this gig, and that feedback stays there. That's it. It doesn't carry out of being,
Well, Jessica said this about my drag, blah, 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 blah.
and instead it leaves, just as much as my friends have confronted me with really intense things about how I've made them feel. And I have that same two-route option to respond. I can get mad and say, you're stupid. Like, I can't believe you're mad about this. Or I can say, I hear you. Let me tell you where I'm coming from. And also let me tell you how I'm going to fix this moving forward. And then sometimes that's all you can do. And I've had people bring up years of drama and issues. And the only thing I can say is, thank you for telling me. All I can do is to move on and do better the next time I'm in this situation, or the next time I speak about this, or I didn't know this made you feel that way. I'll know that moving forward. But at that point, you kind of find that it's too late. That person's already stewed in anger and resentment. But I found as I've grown older that I want to focus on my tight-knit circle. When I let people in, it's very rare. I get called a bitch in drag a lot because a lot of the people that want to work with me, we don't have that personal relationship or that acquaintanceship. We are coworkers working in the same industry. So I'm treating you like I'm employing you for this show, and just like you have treated me to be that way. And sometimes that's the easiest way. It's just that's our working relationship. I'm not rude. There's dressing room etiquette with like sister friends. Why have I not talked about that? Sister friends are what I call, and I guess brother friends, but it sounds weirder when I say it out loud like that, where the two mesh together. They're my sisters, they're my friends, my sister friends. They're really important people to me. But people talk. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time with friendships, like I said, because I'm so ready for everyone to walk away from me that I'm so used to it, and I expect that. And I shouldn't expect that. And I've really evaluated and tried to realistically think about in my friendships what roles I play to either the downfall or the success or the vibrancy of our friendship, just as much as I have to realistically pick out what I know is not in my control. It's not my fault. This is an unavoidable situation. This was where it was going to go regardless, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. I lack a lot of closure with a lot of friends. And so I keep people really close to me. I do. I try to tell people how much I love them and care about them so much, because you just never know when it's the last time you're going to get that opportunity to tell somebody that you love them and that you care about them. I'm always attracted to motivated people in friendships. I love people that are driven. I love people that have passions and creativity, no matter what it is or what they choose to do with it. I love people that are silly and vocal. I find that a lot of my friendships are a yin and yang to me. I very much am a unfortunately serious person, and very headstrong and very determined and very meticulous and very, this is how I'd like it. And I choose a lot of people in my life that counter that and push me off of my straight path. That's weird to say, where they're able to get me to feel just a little bit less structured and more laughing and smile more, laugh more, and allow things to not be so robotic in my routines. And I value those people so much. And I value them in co-hosting as well. You'll find that. It's a whole different Jess talk. But yeah, friendships, communication. I want you to always be yourself. I always want you to say what you think and what you feel, the way you do it, because those are the people you should feel safest around. I should be able to blow up and get angry, or be sad and cry, or be happy and tell you my most exciting news, or tell you when something's really sad and a downfall in my life or a failure in my career, and know that the reception is you being there as a friend in whatever capacity, just as much as I want those folks to do the same for me. I've gotten a lot better about, I think scheduling is really hard. And so people are like, oh yeah, let's do something. Let's go do this. Like, we should get coffee sometime. And I'm like, oh yeah, we totally should get some coffee sometime. And then 4 years later, we actually go get coffee for the first time. So part of what I do now in my life is, oh, we should get coffee. Here's my phone. What day works? Even if we have to cancel or reschedule, that is the first step. And then when I have coffee with that person, oh, before we leave, what does 3 weeks from now look like for you? Do you have this day open so that we can just put it on the calendar and see if it works out? Obviously, life happens. But I think that has been really helpful to be like reaching out, putting those people in there. But I also no longer accept from people that never try the "you're too busy" in my friendship comment, because if you're not willing to ask me, and I may decline 1,000 times, I will do my best each of those 1,000 times to show up in some way for you as a friend. I don't think anybody's the perfect friend. I think imperfect friends are really valuable, because they show you your imperfections. Not every single time can people be there for you. Sometimes you need to give and take, like in any relationship, where you're not taking up the space, the emotional space. If someone's going through things, like if someone's telling me they need to talk, that's a time for me to listen and maybe not use what's emotionally charging me to fuel this conversation. Sometimes they ask for advice. Sometimes they don't ask for advice. I think that unwarranted advice in friendships is never accepted. Like, I don't think you should do that unless it's unless you're watching out for somebody. Like if you're looking out for their health, their well-being, like if they're in a bad relationship, constructive feedback in friendships, I think is really important. Like you should be growing with these people that are in your inner circle. These are your chosen family. Those are my best friends. These are my chosen family. As somebody that was abandoned by their real family, I look to my friends as my chosen family. And when you wrong me or you do one of those red flags, my option is to say, and I'm very vocal about it, even recently with this one, I was like, I don't think a personal friendship is going to work right now. You're harboring and holding on to a lot of things that I cannot fix. And I think that we should just have a professional relationship and we can revisit coming back to being friends. But let's just pause this before it gets nasty, because the cycle is you don't address being just professional relationship or just taking some space. It gets nasty, name calling, outside opinions. You start posting online, you start dragging people. And let me just tell you, I don't do that with the people that have been the nastiest to me. I do not respond that way. Because in my head, that is somebody I gave months or years of time to. And maybe now is not the time that we're connecting. But this friendship can come back to it. But it will not come back, and I won't allow it as soon as you bring it to one of those paths. I can't do it. I don't give a lot of second chances in that way. The second chance or the conversation part of addressing your feelings and emotions as an adult or what's bothering you, that is the quote unquote second chance to a lot of those things. I love eating with my friends. I love going on trips with my friends, which doesn't get to happen very often. I love working with my sister friends, my brother friends, my siblings, my drag sibling friends. I find that the older I get, the more comfortable I am knowing who I would like to be friends with, just as much as being comfortable enough to tell people that I do not want to be friends with them. And believe me, it is hard and it hurts that you can see the hurt on that person that says, hey, I know that I fucked up, but time has gone by and I really want to be your friend. And I have been respectful back and said, I just truly don't have the emotional desire or energy to reignite this friendship like that, or spend the time there when there are people that never left that I would love to give that energy and that time to. And it's no disrespect to you. I still want to support you, still happy to book you, still happy to share things, but I'm not looking to go into coffee dates and having you over and hanging out and things like that. It really hurts when I have chosen people to be really close to and they have over what either I don't know because they've never communicated it, or what pieces of the puzzle I can, because you have to learn when to just let things go with some of your friends. So I think it hurts most, one, the way people decide to respond to their hurt, where they either cut you out, they trash you, they do everything to destroy you, and you choose not to go that route. It's so hard not to. But then down the line, I can tell how those 10 people, I can easily say 7 of them over the course of the last 6 years in different times have come back to apologize to me and asked to let things go. And my response usually is, I let things go the minute all this happened, because that's not the path that I choose to take. Or you are willing to trash me online, so why don't you apologize online? Because this apology to my face, there was an entertainer, I was like, just 2 weeks ago, you were talking shit about me online. And she was like, yeah, but that doesn't count. And I said, okay, it does, but thanks for your apology. Like, it's invalid to me. I have a lot of people that apologize at random times and want to be friends again or want to be cool again. And I'm never not been cool with people. I don't have a resentment towards people. It's too much to hold on to.
I just think also, like, if you're waiting, like, a year, 2 years to apologize, like, it didn't really matter to you that much if you had to wait.
Not if I was trying to get the apology and the resolution within a week of it happening. I'm trying to nick this in the butt now so that we can just squash it regardless of where it needs to go. But no. It's not my fault anymore, not my problem.
Like after that, it's like resentment. Like you're sitting with
not with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You sat with it. Now you're clear-minded that you're realizing, wow, maybe I shouldn't have acted that way, or I shouldn't have said that thing, or I shouldn't have gone straight to blocking you, or I should have given you an in-person conversation or something.
It's just about communicating.
Yeah, it is about communicating. And like I said, I can recognize in every situation the pieces that I could have done better. Communicating, acting, whatever it is. But I can't get to the root of it if I'm not given the chance to. I can't fix things that I'm not told about. My friendships are ones that I want long term. I look up to people like Felony Misdemeanor who says, this is my friend of 30 years. We were in diapers together. This is my college friend of 20 years that I haven't seen in forever, and it just comes together. There are those friends. You don't see them for months and years. You don't see them forever. And as soon as you lock eyes with them or they're in the same space, all you can do is get excited and happy, and you want to hug them and squeeze them. And there's so many people in the drag world too that I'm not like amazingly close with. I'm not best friends with. But when I see them in a room, my heart gets so happy. I start getting excited to go squeeze them and tell them how beautiful they are. Gia Stacks is one of those. Kiana Sexton is one of those for me. There's so many folks that I don't get to see very often. And when I see them, I just get so happy. And maybe they're walking away and talking shit about me, but I don't put my head in that space. In my head, until proven otherwise, they're the best people in the world. They really are. Giving the benefit of the doubt is really hard for me. No, really easy for me, but it's really easy also to put your head in a space where you think your friends don't like you. And I would rather go up to my friend and say, do you not like me right now? Like, are we not cool? Are we not friends? I hate being the one to address it first and then being like, yeah, for 4 months I felt this way. I'm like, why am I coming to you? You should have just told me.
Like, what if you heard it around? Like, why would you go to other people instead of coming to the person that you're upset with?
Exactly. And this is happening recently. And some of it is age. Like, you could be the same age as me, but you're like 1 or 2 years in the drag scene, and it shows because of your emotional maturity and your communicative maturity. And other people have been doing this 30 years longer than I have, and they seem to have the same emotional maturity and lack of maturity to have conversation. So, and I know a lot of people watching this will be like, Jessica doesn't ever have personal or in-person conversation or doesn't want anything like that. I've always been open to it. I think it's just how it's addressed. Like, if it's email or texting or whatever, I'm always open to the idea of it, but I need to know in my heart what the intention is behind it. Yeah, I love my friends. I root for my friends. I cheer them on. I check in on them. I care about them. Am I perfect? No. I never aspire to be perfect, but I aspire to grow, to be a better friend to everybody in my life every single day. As much as I'm bettering myself every day, I'm trying to better myself as a friend, as a best friend. If someone gives me that title, super valuable to me. Someone gives me the title of sister and it's not overused. People that use sister for everybody I think are ridiculous, but people that use sister or brother, those are really important people. They're really special, and I will remind them how special they are until the day that I die. I will. What are your point of views on friendships? What is important to you in friendships? Is it the hanging out? Is it adventures? Is it communication? Tell me down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Attention the whore. Attention the whore. Attention the whore.
Hi, little whores. It's me, Jessica lwhor. And did you know that I'm on Cameo? That's right. Cameo is a platform where you can get personalized messages from me, the biggest whore in all of Colorado. Whether it be a birthday sing-along, a bar mitzvah, a congratulations on your new job, a congratulations you didn't get pregnant, I'm your whore for the message. So follow the link below, click it, and book your next Cameo to surprise your best friend, your grandma, your family member, or any other little lwhor fan out there. Come on, book them now.